The 7th year together, Judy started getting interested in an intern secretary. She said he cleaned up the office just like I did back in high school, fearless and carefree. Later, to spend Christmas with him, she missed my celebration party. And that night, I got into a car accident. My memory stopped before senior year of high school. Back then, the person I liked wasn't Judy. After I woke up, I followed my memo and broke up with Judy. She was sure I was faking it, scoffed at me and said, "You're the one who asked for it. Don't regret it." At a party, she was shoulder to shoulder with that intern, looking pretty cozy. Judy's friends started congratulating them, saying I couldn't match up to someone younger. Just then, the private room door opened, and I walked in holding someone's hand, whining, "Why did you just get here? They're all bullying me." With a loud crash, Judy smashed her glass on the table, staring at me with eyes that seemed like her soul had just been sucked out. My sixth sense told me that Judy and I were probably about to break up soon. I lost track of how many times she brought up that intern in front of me lately, so I had Felix work overtime for a few days. He retaliated by pouring hot water on my money tree. "Do you think he's over the line?" I asked while editing the 7th draft of a project plan without even looking up. "Then just fire him." The room fell silent for a moment. Judy rubbed her forehead tiredly and her voice softened. "He's just a kid starting out in the workforce. Why should I hold it against him? Besides, he reminds me of you. Fearless and quite adorable." Adorable? Did she mean how he walked off on time even with an urgent meeting? Or how he gave the boss attitude after a few words? Or maybe when he deliberately booked the train standing tickets for the boss on a business trip, all in the name of office cleanup? If that was Judy's idea of adorable, I had nothing to say. If I weren't her boyfriend, I might admire them as being perfect for a workplace drama. I stretched my stiff neck, looked at Judy, and said, "Whatever. A couple of lost projects and he'll sober up." Judy was taken aback for a second. Then her lips tightened with a hint of sharpness in her eyes. "Jack, is it really necessary for you to be so harsh?" I wanted to snap back but felt a wave of exhaustion. Even breathing felt hard. Memories of love flashed through my mind, but the woman in front of me felt like a stranger. After a brief standoff, Judy sighed. Her expression softened, and she tugged at me. "He just reminds me of high school you, like a little troublemaker who even dared to puncture the vice principal's bike tires. Imagine if you had an understanding boss when you started out. Maybe you wouldn't be so stressed or without time to rest now. That's why I'm patient with Felix, like giving an umbrella to the old you." I laughed out of frustration. "Judy, are you out of your mind? I'm getting soaked in the rain, and instead of making me ginger tea to prevent a cold, you give someone else an umbrella, worried they might get soaked like I did, all while claiming you're doing it for my sake. I'm still alive yet you're already pitying an imposter. Are you okay?" Judy stood up in a fit of rage, her voice simmering with anger. "He's not a stand-in. You're impossible." With that, she slammed the door and left without hesitation. Another bitter end. All that's left between us is endless fighting. When did it start? Probably months ago when I was swamped with a major project. Late nights were the norm, so busy even eating was forgotten. I forgot about our anniversary. She had booked a restaurant, but I was still buried in work. It was the first huge fight we'd had. Judy wasn't happy that I prioritized work, leaving no time for us. But why did I work so hard? Didn't she know? Judy came from money, and I was just from a regular family. Back in senior high, she transferred to our school and became my desk mate. I just ended an unrequited crush, brimming with resentment. I didn't care who you were. If you crossed me, you got a piece of my mind. Judy got so mad at me every day, but eventually we ended up hanging out, becoming the school's notorious troublemaking duo. Our claim to fame was having the guts to puncture the vice principal's bike tires. Both of us had to read apology letters on the podium. It was all me, really, because I couldn't stand how he handled the bullying cases. But Judy stood in front of me, insisting she was the culprit, vividly reading the apology letter while the other students laughed hysterically. In that moment, watching her, my heart skipped a beat. When her mom found out, she talked to me. Judy's mom had a strong presence, politely yet firmly telling me to stay away from Judy. After graduation, she'd go study abroad, leaving behind all connections here. I've read enough stories to know that having an evil mother-in-law means chaos, and my little crush wasn't worth diving into that kind of life. Reason took over, so I forced myself to squash the budding feelings I had. I deliberately distanced myself from Judy until after the college entrance exams. I thought we'd go our separate ways with no more connections. But one night, she showed up at my place, drenched in sweat, bending forward with her hands on her knees, struggling to catch her breath. She looked messy, yet her eyes were incredibly bright, like they were filled with starlight. This girl, all eyebrows and grace, couldn't hide the slight smile at the corners of her lips. Her small, sharp teeth were showing. I noticed something strange about her knees and realized how she had kneeled for 2 whole days to convince her strict mother. She promised to be a good successor just to get her mom to agree. "Jack," she said, "I know my mom pressured you into distancing yourself from me. Don't worry. She's agreed to let me stay in the country and won't stop us from being together. No need to feel guilty. So, do you want to be my boyfriend?" Cicadas roared loudly in the summer. Yet Judy's confession rang clear as day in my ears. The suppressed emotions exploded inside me. My blood rushed and heart pounded loudly in my chest. She didn't twist my arm or make things awkward for me, but quietly cleared the path. All I saw were the beautiful views along the way. Even someone as logical as me couldn't resist this passion. So I took her hand. My parents were both doctors. They fell in love at first sight. Yet my dad came from poverty with a sick mother to care for, and my grandpa disapproved of their relationship. Mom rebelled for the first time, refused anyone else her family introduced, and insisted on marrying him. Dad didn't take it for granted that she'd live a hard life with him. He worked hard and earned his superiors' respect, smooth-talking her parents. He took Grandpa fishing and helped Grandma shop, winning them over with sincerity. Thanks to my parents' example, I learned early on that relationships need effort from both sides to last. Judy's mom wanted a son-in-law who matched their status and could shine in any setting. I was just average, causing my folks constant headaches. Definitely not perfect for Judy. Even if we managed now, conflicts would arise later from different issues. Judy would be caught in the middle, suffering the most. Her father died in a car crash, and her mom became a force in business to support the family, leaving little time for Judy, who loved and resented her. Judy acted out just to get her mom's attention, but deep down, she craved closeness. Since Judy made the effort to remove obstacles for our relationship, I had to do the same. I wouldn't be a time bomb in their lives. I decided to deal with any potential issues in the future and win her mom's approval. During college, I pushed myself. I was at the library by 5:30 every morning, never late. I entered competitions to build my resume and landed an internship at a big company, eventually turning it into a full-time job. I often visited Judy's mom to smooth the mother-daughter tensions. Now, I could lead big projects on my own. My boss said I'd likely be promoted to marketing director after my current project. Judy's mom visibly grew more impressed with me, often inviting me to events, helping expand my network. I had pushed through so much and finally saw the door surrounded by flowers. I opened it with a smile, ready for my victory. But the next moment, all the color drained away. I stood frozen, staring ahead. Judy, pretending to be mad, messed up a boy's hair, yet her eyes were full of affection. The boy grinned mischievously as if triumphant. When he turned, I saw his face. It was Felix, the intern Judy often mentioned. Awakened suddenly in a cold sweat, I realized it wasn't just a dream. I'd seen it when visiting her. I had laughed it off, asking why she'd messed up his hair. She became animated, ranting about how annoying Felix was, oblivious to how intimate it seemed. I wanted to say something but had no words, just listening silently. We were just inches apart, but it felt like an ocean between us. I got up, grabbed a glass of water, and checked my phone. I had a message from Judy. "Jack, I'm out of town for a few days for work. I'll bring you back a gift. Love you." She used that loving tone to sweep things under the rug, as if we hadn't fought. I sighed and replied with a simple, "Okay." The project's about to wrap up, and finally, I'll get to have a proper break. I'll seize this chance to take a vacation and have a heart-to-heart with Judy. I stare at the flickering neon lights outside and mumble to myself, 7 years can't just fall apart like that, right? There's still a way to fix it. Turns out, when you ask questions already knowing the answer, you've already lost. Judy skipped my celebration party. She called and apologized, saying some client was giving her a hard time, and she might be back a day late. Wait for me, she said. I was understanding, as always, and told her calmly that work comes first. She seemed relieved and hung up soon after. But she didn't know that just a few hours earlier, an ex-colleague, who's still a buddy, sent me a picture. Judy was at an amusement park with her nephew, celebrating Christmas. He thought we were on a trip together. Just as he was about to greet her, he noticed a strange boy. There she was in the photo with a silly, fluffy headband on, and the boy next to her laughing hysterically, wearing a matching one. When disappointment hits rock bottom, all that's left after the dull ache is numbness, maybe even a weird sense of relief. Beneath a shiny facade, everything's already falling apart. Even if you cover it up tightly, the stench of rot can't be hidden. I have to accept reality. This relationship has been decaying for a while now. I thought I'd be in unbearable pain, crying, cursing for wasting 7 years. But instead, I just turned off my phone, joined the lively celebration party, and laughed, drinking glass after glass. After dinner, we went for karaoke, going wild till late at night. I grabbed the mic, singing like a maniac in the room. My colleagues were shocked. Has Jack gone mad from happiness? I, drunk and grinning, joked back, gotta be happy about promotions and wealth. They just thought I was joking 'cause I'd had a bit too much. After all the fun, we went our separate ways. I leaned against the car window, trying to rest my eyes. Memories, though, wouldn't behave, flooding in from all sides. Our first hug, first kiss, our first anniversary. Her earnest face is still so clear. She once took out a handwritten promise, the uniquely ugly handwriting making me chuckle. Judy, embarrassed and angry, forced me to press my handprint beside hers. Stamped, gotta celebrate anniversaries for life, no takebacks. She folded that promise carefully and tucked it away. I kissed her cheek with a smirk, never taking it back. When tears slipped down, a blinding light shot through my eyelids. Following was a screech of brakes. My body lurched forward. As I blacked out, the thought was, why am I this unlucky? Already regretting, please spare me. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. The doctor asked me a few questions, then concluded, I had amnesia. My memory stopped at 17 before my senior year. Likely selective amnesia that would take time to heal. I didn't believe it until I looked in the mirror. Dark circles looking like birthmarks and overwhelming workplace fatigue. I opened my phone, thankful the password hadn't changed, and pieced together my situation from some chat logs. A poor unlucky guy. A girlfriend of 7 years cheated on him, and on the same day, he got in a wreck and lost his memory. Feeling utterly hopeless, I tried calling my mom when the hospital room door opened. In walked a tall woman, her white dress accentuating her figure. Her eyes carried a natural sharpness, the mole at the corner adding a touch of gentleness and allure. With beauty unmatched, she was stunning like no other. When learning the phrase "a jade among stones," standing tall among pines, her elegant image came to mind. I once teased that she must be a beauty from an ancient painting, but now my pupils shrank, instinctively avoiding her gaze. That sense of time disconnect left me at a loss. From my view, I had just ended my secret crush on her not long ago. Yep, she's my first love, my childhood friend, Joanna. We looked at each other without speaking. The room got so quiet it was suffocating. My dad and mom are away. Asked me to check on you, Joanna broke the silence, pulling up a chair next to me. I nodded, scratching the back of my head, clueless about what to say. A spark of inspiration hit, found a topic. You're probably married by now, right, Joanna? She looked up, finding the question absurd. Why would you ask that? After a moment's pause, considering it's been long enough since we moved past it, I jokingly teased, it's just that, not too long ago, no wait, back in junior year, I saw you at an amusement park with a boy. It got awkward as I twisted my fingers out of habit, with an awkward chuckle. You always said you didn't like amusement parks, so I thought you must like him. Joanna interrupted, so, you distanced yourself because of that? Her harsh gaze and sudden sternness made her stare unbearable. She started looking pretty intimidating. Why is she getting mad? My temper flared too, so I snapped back. No, before that, I heard you say you'd never be with me. In the hallway once, separated by a window, I overheard someone ask Joanna, "The top guy seems to like you. Would you say yes if he confessed?" Joanna's voice was unmistakably cold. No. The person pressed on, clearly unsatisfied. What about Jack? My heart skipped. I quickly flattened against the wall but couldn't help but listen closer. This time, though she paused for just a few seconds, it felt like I was being torn apart. Joanna said, "No, I wouldn't." Blood ran cold, fingers went numb, and I walked away fast, not wanting more rejection. At home, without hesitation, I ended that secret crush. It wasn't that I wasn't willing to try. I just knew with Joanna, there was no room for change. Like a clock wound tight, she'd stick to her set path, her mind made up unchangeably, disciplined to an extreme. Sure, feelings can change, but after all this time, if she liked me, it would have happened already. It's pointless to wait and hope for something that clearly isn't there. Joanna doesn't like me, and that's okay. I'm not going to waste my time and energy on something fruitless. Life isn't a novel where being persistent always wins in the end. I've got my own path to follow. If our paths don't align, then so be it. This might be the first time I've been this honest with Joanna about my feelings. Funny thing is, just as my feelings for Joanna ended, I stumbled into another relationship, and now it's crashing and burning with an affair involved. The girl I secretly liked was at the amusement park with another guy, and my girlfriend was getting cozy with someone else at the same park. Can amusement parks pay me a commission for all this trouble? I didn't notice Joanna's expression darkening as I went on. Just as she let out a couple of weary sighs, the hospital room door slammed open. A woman rushed in, holding my face anxiously, her eyes red and worried. "Jack, are you okay?" Her voice trembled, showing concern. Joanna just stood there quietly, then left the room without a word. I felt a cold sensation on my cheek and a faint cologne smell that made me nauseous. Instinctively, I pushed her away. That sudden pain in my chest disappeared as quick as it came. This woman was the cheating Judy. Judy was frozen, disbelieving. I flipped open my notes where the first item was, "Break up with Judy." Feeling calm like I was crossing off a to-do list, I said, "Perfect timing. Let's break up." Judy's fists clenched as she fixed her stare on me, her jaw twitching uncontrollably. "What did you say?" she asked. "Break up. You don't understand?" I replied. Judy laughed bitterly, forcing each word through her teeth. "You're breaking up over some missed party? I didn't sleep all night just to catch the first flight back for you, and this is what you pull?" Watching her angry face, I shook my head. Why did I ever get involved with such a fake and self-centered person? Feeling unexpectedly weary, I just didn't want to speak another word to her. Calmly, I asked, "Did you have fun at the amusement park with your assistant?" Her pupils shrank in panic before she quickly composed herself. "Is that why you're upset?" she asked, softening her tone. "Remember that limited edition toy you wanted? Felix thought they might have some, so we stopped by." I almost applauded her acting skills. Cheating and meeting up with another guy, yet she flipped the blame so smoothly. I wondered if she'd use a similar excuse if caught cheating in bed. Her face turned from pink to red with anger. Trying to keep her cool, she said, "Jack, you can check all my schedules. Felix is just doing his job accompanying me on trips. There's no need for these accusations." She scoffed, "You don't seem amnesiac to me, pulling this kind of stunt. Accusing an innocent guy, aren't you ashamed? Fine, if breaking up is what you want, then don't regret it," she said coolly, leaving with a slam of the door. I almost laughed out loud. To some people, it seems like as long as there's no kissing or sleeping together, it doesn't count as cheating. I wanted to throw the nearby fruit basket at her, but I held back. Breaking up was the goal after all. The more I argued, the messier it could get. Even one more look at her face made me sick. After finally breaking up, I felt a great relief. I ticked off the task in my notes. Just then, Joanna walked back in. We both looked at each other silently. She had a hint of a smile in her eyes, then coughed lightly, trying to play it down. I heard everything, she said. I felt embarrassed. Sorry about that, I laughed awkwardly. Not laughing at you, she replied. With her and some old messages from my phone, I pieced together what happened over the years, realizing I succeeded in my career. Finally, I smiled again. Funny how the main character in stories often finds success after getting over emotional hurdles. In a way, Judy became my motivation to strive. That's about all she's worth, though. When I had a car accident, the company gave me 3 months of paid leave. The doctor recommended I take walks in familiar places to help with memory recovery. Joanna took responsibility for me during this time, even planning to come home with me. I felt a bit overwhelmed. Thanks, but I don't need to be babysat anymore. Once we got over the initial awkwardness, it was like old times. Things became comfortable again. Joanna's dark eyes caught mine, and she laughed. You've grown. You used to have me bring breakfast all the time without saying thanks. She playfully teased me and continued, Do you cook? No, I admitted. Then how are you going to take care of yourself? She asked. Order takeout, I shyly muttered, looking away. She laughed, grabbing my luggage. Let's go. Otherwise, if you end up back here from bad takeout, I'll be in trouble with both our moms. I was puzzled. She usually hated unscheduled plans, and we hadn't really talked in years. We were practically strangers. But here she was helping me out. Thankfully, she's only cooking and didn't plan on staying over, which was a relief. Joanna put on a cartoon apron and started making yam and pork rib soup in the kitchen. Watching the gas flame dance, I zoned out for a moment. The once awkward teen had now become someone poised and capable. She made braised beef with potatoes, stir-fried peppers, and garlic lettuce. A perfect 3-course meal with soup. These are all my favorite foods. All these years have passed, and she still remembers. Her cooking is on point, too. My eyes lit up, and I smiled, giving her a thumbs up. Joanna, with your skills, you could open a restaurant. She slowly served me some soup. I only know how to make these few dishes. I paused, couldn't think of a reply, and just focused on my meal. Why'd she have to say something so thought-provoking? To break the awkward silence, I changed the subject. I remember you planned to be a doctor. How come you ended up in finance? Yeah, she said, catching the big data wave, turning herself into a rising star in the business tech world, like a farmer suddenly becoming royalty. Pretty impressive. She paused for a few seconds, her lips twitching slightly. Nothing much, just wanted to be rich. I nearly spat out my soup. Joanna looked at me, and I couldn't help but chuckle. You were always so determined. No one could change your mind. Didn't know you'd switch up your plans. Joanna's super disciplined, loves to jot down tasks in her notebook, like acing exams, reaching grade 10 in piano and violin, mastering coding, methodically checking them off. She's never failed at anything. I once saw her notebook, and it stressed me out so much I couldn't sleep. I ended up making planning lists too, and still do. She always wanted to be a surgeon. My parents even shared their experiences with her. But she eventually chose the entrepreneurial path. I sighed, realizing growing up changes us all. Joanna looked at me with those deep, mysterious phoenix eyes, and after a while, she smiled slightly. No, we haven't changed, she said, her voice a little raspy, with a hint of laughter. Starting tomorrow, I'll take you around to jog your memory. After 2 weeks of revisiting places, I couldn't take it anymore. Joanna, what's up with this? She looked innocently at me. What's wrong? I was both amused and frustrated, glaring up at her. I've lost memories from after turning 17. Why aren't we visiting college or work? Why are we revisiting the snack street, internet cafe, bookstore, and temple from high school? Reminiscing over embarrassing moments? Everywhere we went, Joanna recalled something with a straight face, helping me remember. Remember this grill place? You ate 3 bowls and got a stomachache for days. And this internet cafe? You snuck here after school and got busted by the dean. I bailed you out. She went on about the book I always read but couldn't find it anymore. And this one time climbing a temple hill, a big yellow dog chased you, and you jumped into my arms, refusing to come down. I covered her mouth, face flushed with embarrassment. It felt like the years of distance between us just vanished. Screw manners or maturity. I just wanted to silence her. You're just messing with me, I said through gritted teeth. Joanna blinked, meeting my gaze. The soft feeling on my palm suddenly became distinct, like it was burned, and I quickly pulled my hand back, walking swiftly ahead to the bridge covered in red strings of wishes. It was quite a sight. Standing on that bridge, fuzzy fragments of memory started to flash through my mind, causing a slight headache. A crisp, cool scent wafted from behind me. I remember you writing a secret wish here once, not letting me see. Where did you tie it? Joanna bent down, looking for it, her distinct fingers brushing over the faded red strings. Quite a sight. But I wasn't in the mood to appreciate. I pushed her forward. With so many strings, there's no way you'll find it. It's not that important anyway. Joanna turned, lightly asking, Really? I nodded nonchalantly, thinking if she really saw it, I'd lose face. Joanna finally started her job. Thank goodness. I almost thought she went bankrupt and became unemployed, just lounging around. Going on a business trip for 2 days, I made breakfast. See you when I get back. I stared at the message for a while, fingers unknowingly curling. We weren't even living together, yet she talked like an old married couple. An unusual feeling crept in, and I quickly switched screens, shaking my head to clear the clutter in my mind. High school buddy Mike messaged unexpectedly, asking if I wanted to hang out. We were pretty tight back in school and still kept in touch over the years. 17-year-old me loved to have fun, so I agreed without a second thought. He visited me in the hospital, shocked by my amnesia. Jack, you're like a novel's leading man, hitting the rare amnesia trope. Guess heartbreak from Judy hit you hard. No worries. I'll help you find a new leading lady. His love for novels was apparent. Arriving at the resort, the lavish setting was jaw-dropping: fishing, barbecue, spa, kids zone, a bar, and restaurants serving global cuisines. Bits of memory started piecing together. I'd been here with Judy once. Her breath, smelling of oranges, whispered in my ear, asking where we should honeymoon after marriage. Laughter, cicadas, and the rustle of wind drifted away in the whirl of memories. No matter how sweet the memory was, cheating stripped it all away. I shook my head, warning myself against unwanted memories while enjoying myself. But things never go as planned. Just after a refreshing bath, Mike dragged me to a private room, eyes gleaming. Jack, my crush, and her friends are in there. Could you join me? I wasn't shy, so I agreed without thinking. Opening the door, there she was, Judy, and beside her was Felix. Talk about speaking things into existence. Good luck never works, but bad does. My eye twitched, ready to turn and leave. Judy's lazy voice, slightly tipsy, called out, You're already here, play a bit. I owe you one for breaking up with me, letting me find true love. Her half-lidded eyes were playful. Mike paused and hurriedly said, I didn't know she was here. I'm sorry. Let's leave. His eyes drifted to a handsome guy in the corner. I let out a sigh and patted his hand. No worries, what victim hides from their lover, right? You go on, I said, amidst numerous eyes watching me. With a calm demeanor, I poured myself a drink and walked over to Judy. She was all cozy against Felix's shoulder, looking dainty and delicate, with their noses practically touching. Felix had wide eyes, half thrilled and half shy. Judy pushed against Felix's chest, saying, Stop it, there are people watching, including your ex-boyfriend. I watched them with a smile, pretending that public places are just private rooms for these lovebirds. Do you really enjoy being the center of attention? I said. Don't mind me, go on. Actually, thank you for taking the trash off my hands. You two leading stars in a drama should stay together forever. Have kids even. Lock it down so it doesn't recirculate back into the market. It's practically a good deed, I said, raising my drink as if offering a toast. The room fell silent. Felix glared at me, "What the hell, you old man," he snapped. I paused, smiling. "Old man? You should look after yourself. Those dark circles look like they're about to fall off." He kept ranting, calling people like me the reason work nowadays is unbearable and how fear of not saying no to overtime is a thing. All while sitting there smirking, like stealing my girlfriend and eating off my paycheck was some great crusade. Seriously, they seemed like they were made for each other, similar in their shared stupidity. Felix, all puffed up, looked down on me. "Really? Then why is a noble workplace reformer like you still working under those capitalist dogs?" I replied. His face changed quickly. "Shut up. I'm not a lover boy." Tears welled up in Felix's eyes. He looked at Judy, hoping she'd step in. Judy narrowed her eyes, scanning my face for any signs of me holding back tears. She eventually scoffed, poured herself a drink, and glared coldly at me. "Felix is my boyfriend now. You have no right to talk about him," she declared. Felix blushed, clinging to her. The atmosphere was tense for a while. Friends of Judy quickly tried to smooth things over, noticing her expression and choosing to sing praises to the new beau. Totally, Jack can't compete with young and lively Felix, who Judy adores. Absolutely, Jack is dull and boring. Judy was so over him long ago. No need to fight over this. I clenched my drink, seething. Old man, dull and boring. Never in my life had I been so humiliated. Just as I was about to start a comeback, the door opened. The newcomer looked at me with soft eyes and an amused expression. "I'm here to back you up," Joanna announced. It was as if I went from being stranded to suddenly having a pillar of support. No more need to be the prickly porcupine pretending to be strong. I held Joanna's hand. "Why'd you only get here now? They've been ganging up on me terribly." I whispered close to her ear, asking her to pretend to be my girlfriend to shut them all down. She hesitated, then her grip tightened, her warmth spreading. "Whoever's bullying you, fight back. I've got your back," she said, a comforting smile playing on her lips. I remembered back in high school when I stood up for a bullied kid and got targeted myself. When those bullies cornered me while Joanna wasn't around, I ended up fighting 5 of them. Came back in a sorry state, with my parents working late at the hospital. But Joanna was there to patch me up, a quiet fury burning beneath her calm exterior. The next day, she brought her friends from boxing class and we confronted the bully group, with me settling the score. Joanna stood guard outside the alley. Later, she reported the incident to the principal, threatening to transfer if no action was taken. The principal had no choice but to punish them, keen to hold on to such a bright student like her. Ever since, she wouldn't let me go to and from school alone. Falling for someone like her seemed so natural. Looking at her, it felt like being transported back to those simpler days in school. My heart fluttered a bit. Guess it's better not to cause trouble for the police. Those people exchanged glances, shaken by Joanna's entrance but relieved at my decision to spare them. Still, I grinned. Make sure you get even for me in the business world, especially with that chubby sneaky one and the guy with the ridiculous hair. Joanna's expression softened. I'll take care of them for my boyfriend. The silence shattered with the noise of breaking glass and Judy's sharp screams. Her hand reddened, dripping with blood and alcohol. She stared at me, like life drained suddenly from her face. "Jack," she murmured. Joanna's smile was sharp. "Judy, know your place. He's my boyfriend," she said sternly. I was already over Judy's drama, urgently pulling Joanna to the exit. Let's go. Such bad luck. Out here stepping on dog poo," I muttered. Mike quickly trailed behind, incredibly excited. "Jack, you were amazing when you told them off." "I couldn't interrupt that," he said, winking at me and Joanna. "You guys go have fun. I won't be the third wheel. I'm off to search for ladies," he added, whisking away his crush who had been casually watching the drama unfold. I turned to Joanna. "How'd you know I was here?" "Saw Mike's tweet. I happened to be looking nearby, so headed over." "Off to find some ladies in the bar later?" she asked, tone light but with a hint of mischief. Feeling exposed, I quickly changed the subject. "Thanks for having my back today. As payback, spend the next 2 days here with me," she requested. "What are your plans?" I asked, curious. Joanna's eyes glimmered mysteriously, her eyebrows raised teasingly. The scenery here is beautiful, and the facilities are top-notch. There's a lot of stuff to do. You can play whatever you want. My cheeks started to heat up a bit. I wasn't about to back down. Let's try everything. So we kicked things off with our first activity, barbecue. Judy, like a ghost that wouldn't leave, set up her barbecue grill right next to us. It was like a cook-off, even with her hands all bandaged up trying to mess with us. Whatever Joanna grilled for me, Judy grilled for Felix, and I had to endure the relentless chatter. Boss, how did you know I love beef skewers? Judy looked at her fondly. Take a guess. Ugh, you're annoying. Even the tastiest food becomes bland in front of such nonsense. Joanna's breath warmed my back. Her pale wrist appeared in front of me, seeming to wrap me in an embrace. She leaned close to my ear, her voice soft but somehow compelling. Need me to get rid of them? How? I turned to ask. In that split second, our noses almost touched. We were so close our breaths mingled. From a certain angle, it looked like we were kissing. Bang! Judy stared at us, eyes fixed, and her barbecue tray hit the ground. The smile vanished from Felix's face. He bit his lip, glared at Judy, and when she didn't react, he stomped away. Joanna tilted her lips in a small smile. See? There goes one. Judy pursed her thin lips, looking furious. It was like she might grab a knife any second. A few seconds later, she turned to chase after Felix. I couldn't help but smile widely. Joanna, you've got the touch. The party poopers were finally gone. Well, anyone with a shred of decency wouldn't interrupt a couple, right? Not that those two seemed to have any decency. As she said this, she still held me close, her pale hand calmly flipping the meat. I hesitated for a moment. Maybe let me go for now? Joanna's voice was steady. We have to act the part, or they'll just come back and ruin things. I said nothing, but the tips of my ears felt warm. That evening, the front desk told us, smiling, that all the rooms were booked. After exchanging glances, I coughed awkwardly. Maybe I'll just head back. It's not far. Let's hang out another time. I originally planned to stay with Mike, but it didn't feel right to crash their date now. Joanna handed me a black room card. Stay in my room. I blinked, taking a step back. Isn't that a bit much? Just the two of us? I was ready to decline when Judy showed up with Felix around the corner, his tear-streaked face evoking sympathy. Judy gave a cool glance at the room card in my hand, then continued walking, ignoring us. Joanna stepped forward, blocking my view of Judy. She scoffed, lips curving. It's a suite. There's a separate room. Besides, we have to make it convincing. The only way she'll leave you alone is if she truly believes it. Joanna looked down at me, her gaze filled with unspoken emotions. Or is it that you still can't let her go? Not a chance, I replied, my voice tinged with disdain. No way am I hung up on someone like that. Joanna's throat bobbed, tension in her expression breaking for a moment. What's got her so on edge? After my answer, a visible relief washed over her face. Back to her calm demeanor. Once in the room, I rushed to the bathroom for a shower. The sticky barbecue smell wasn't great. As I was drying my hair, the doorbell rang. Thinking it was room service, I opened the door only to find Judy. She stood there, radiating a low-pressure vibe, eyelids slightly red with suppressed madness. I quickly stepped back, but she grabbed my wrist tightly. What is wrong with you? Judy shouted, like she was falling apart. Jack, even if you pretend to be with someone else to annoy me, enough is enough. How could you really get a room with another woman? She started pulling me outside, her voice icy as she demanded we leave together. Then suddenly a slap hit Judy. Blood trickled from her split lip. Joanna stood with a calm fury, shielding me. If you don't want a trip to the hospital, get lost. Judy held the wall to steady herself, glaring at Joanna. Jack's my boyfriend. We've been together for 7 years. Who are you? Joanna let out a shaky laugh, tinged with sarcasm. We've been inseparable since preschool. I saw him light up when he won his first award, saw him pout when he flunked math. Every emotion of his, the books he likes, foods he loves, the stars he once chased. I remember it all. If it weren't for you, the thief, we'd already be together. He's my treasure, and you dared harm him. You deserve to suffer. Judy was stunned, and I stood there, watching Joanna's eyes mist over with emotions. My heart raced, a mix of shock and confusion clouding my mind, sparking a dull ache. I tugged on Joanna's sleeve, my voice hoarse. Let's go inside. Judy's voice sharp. Jack, don't go with her. Of course I'm going. Joanna's my girlfriend. Who exactly are you? I retorted, feeling ridiculous. Her lips pulled in a bitter smile. You rented a room together after just days. If you're that casual, what about our 7 years? Why act so prudish? A sharp pain jolted my head. My heart ached with a worn heaviness, memories flooding in. I shut my eyes tight, the heat stinging behind them. When I opened them again, all bitterness, anger, and reluctance ebbed, leaving a calm coldness. Regret flickered in Judy's eyes. Her lips moved, face growing paler. Jack. I cut her off. Why? Don't you know? She stood motionless, color draining from her face. I've always been open-minded. With both parents as doctors, they taught me about these things early on. Sex is as routine as eating or drinking. Heck, when I left for college, Mom explained how to choose protection, how to stay safe. So there's never been any shame around it for me. In my junior year of college, Judy and I went on a trip to Inner Mongolia during the National Day holiday. Everything just sort of fell into place. Then Judy's mom called. She had Judy put the call on speaker and asked about our trip before getting to the point. Judy, don't take advantage of him. You guys are still young, and the future is uncertain. How are you going to be responsible for him? If you really love him, focus on school and the family business. If you break up, it could get ugly. By this point, Judy and her mom got along better, so she reluctantly agreed. But I knew it wasn't just a reminder. It was a warning for me too. There are so many stories about messy breakups among wealthy families, using kids as pawns. To Judy's mom, I was probably just like those guys. She wanted to keep me at a distance. Honestly, I didn't care much and even tried to reassure Judy. Saving the first time for marriage is beautiful too, right? I felt our relationship was rock solid and wouldn't be affected by things like this. But now, she's lashing out, using harsh words to vent her long-held resentment, blaming me entirely. She's taken this twisted logic to ease her guilt about cheating. When did Judy start spiraling? Maybe she was always a wreck, just showing her true colors now. I shouldn't be sad. I should actually be grateful to her mom. She's not the right match for me. After returning from our summer getaway, I didn't expect Judy's mom to reach out. Judy's been drinking nonstop. She's lost a lot of weight, and she calls your name in her sleep. I just don't get it. After 7 years and almost getting married, why break up now? I stirred my coffee, smiling lightly. Ma'am, I don't believe you're unaware of how close she got with that secretary, Felix. If you know the reason, why ask me? Her mom hesitated. Young people sometimes don't know boundaries. She only got close to him to upset you. Judy really cares about you. Can't you two just talk this over? I snorted and showed her my phone's notes. As she read, her face grew more sullen. It's clear. Until something affects them, they don't understand the pain. The notes detailed each time Judy mentioned Felix. The first time, he mixed up some signing documents. Judy thought his clumsiness was cute. The second, he refused to work overtime for an urgent meeting. She thought his stubbornness was cute. The third, he embarrassed her at a meeting after getting criticized by their boss. There was a fourth, a fifth, a sixth. By the end of it, her mom's face was totally downcast. I get it. She'll never see it from my point of view. In her world, every woman has a few friendly male confidants. But looking at it from a business angle, Felix's actions were damaging. I took my phone back, saying lightly, ma'am, I believe I've never taken advantage of your family. Out of respect, as Judy's mom, I've strived to meet your standards and not put Judy in a tough spot. Whether as her boyfriend or in-law, there's nothing to criticize about me. You can ask me to be forgiving, but had this happened to your partner, would you be as calm? She looked at me quietly for a few seconds before sighing. Jack, It's our family's fault. I've seen how much effort you've put in over the years. To me, you're already a son-in-law. Name any compensation you'd like. I lowered my gaze, unfazed. If you truly feel sorry, then please keep Judy in check. I want nothing more to do with her. She sighed once more as she left. Joanna, worried about Judy bothering me, stayed at my place late into the night. Back home, I didn't know how to face her. We had a delicate balance, never raising past issues. Her words broke that balance, and now I felt unsure how to interact with her. Both of us were silent as I walked her out. I wasn't paying attention and bumped into her when she suddenly stopped. Ouch. Before I could look up, she hugged me tight. Her heartbeat was strong and erratic. Jack, do you still want to hear the truth about what happened back then? Her voice was shaky yet firm. I sighed, a bit helpless. She seemed so skilled in dealing with emotions all this time, always keeping cool. Yet deep down, she was still the same person I knew. How can two people who don't speak openly be together? I was too prideful to ask why. She never knew why I distanced myself and didn't ask either. I fell for someone else, so it's no wonder we missed our chance. But now, I value time too much to waste it on misunderstandings and guessing games. So I replied, Joanna, is it possible I've been waiting for your explanation all this time? She hugged tighter, saying, I'm sorry. Flashback to a random day in high school from Joanna's perspective. The gossipy classmate wouldn't stop talking. Something about the hottest guy in school I didn't recognize or care. But when Jack came up, my pen paused, making a long arc on the page. I started reminiscing about my younger days. Even in kindergarten, Jack and I would sneak away during nap time. Both of us ended up in trouble, and we missed out on our weekly reward stickers. For someone obsessive about following rules, it felt worse than a punishment, so I ignored him for 3 days until he made me a big paper flower to make up. Back in elementary school, Jack failed math and cried his eyes out in front of her. So she reluctantly changed his grade and had to defend him in front of his parents. She was so nervous that her face turned red as a tomato, and their sneaky act got busted. They both ended up getting punished by copying the textbook. In middle school, Jack had already started showing his rebellious streak. Joanna was worried he might get jumped, so she added learning self-defense to her list of plans. By high school, he was going it alone against a bullying gang and got injured in the process. Seeing him all bruised up made Joanna feel like her insides were on fire. She could barely hold back her anger. But Joanna still didn't quite get what liking someone meant. She only knew that when Jack cried, she felt sad. When he got hurt, she got angry. And when he was happy, she felt overjoyed. Jack was the only unpredictable element in her otherwise orderly life. Without him, her plans would have probably gone off without a hitch. But without him, what would be the point? He was like a butterfly, fluttering through her black and white world, lighting up every corner of her life with his vibrant colors. Jack was interwoven in all of Joanna's memories, so the thought of them parting ways never crossed her mind. A classmate pestered her for an answer. If Jack wrote her a love letter, would she go out with him? Joanna said she wouldn't. First off, Jack wasn't the type to write love letters. Secondly, it's young love. His parents would kill him. Spurred by this conversation, she immediately scribbled down a new plan. Date in college. Marry after graduation. But that plan crashed before it even started. The very next day, Jack began distancing himself, finding excuses to avoid walking to and from school with her, growing colder by the day for no apparent reason. Joanna went online, seeking advice. The responses were all over the map, but they mostly boiled down to, he doesn't like you, and he's trying to let you down easy. He's into another girl and doesn't want others to get the wrong idea. School stress. Joanna chose to ignore the first two but still didn't dare ask him why. When her mom asked her to take her cousin out to play, she seized the chance to ask him how to relieve stress. He took her to a haunted house at an amusement park. Joanna was terrified of ghosts, though Jack loved escape room games. To keep appearances, she never went to such places with him, but she braved the haunted house for Jack's sake this time. Coming out, she was pale and got teased by her cousin for ages. But when she got back, Jack was even colder, almost to the point of cutting ties. Joanna grew more anxious and had to face the possibility. Maybe Jack didn't like her after all. Then the new transfer student showed up, and Joanna's hopes shattered. Listening to all this, I was laughing and crying. I blurted, "Are you nuts? Can't you just be clear about it?" Anyone would take that as rejection. Joanna was silent for a few moments before speaking, her voice hoarse. "He's known for being a loudmouth. I just didn't want anything to mess up the plan." She clasped my hand, her wrist delicate and bones distinct, her dark eyes showing rare vulnerability and hope. "Jack, do I still have a chance? Will you take me hiking?" I smiled softly at her. "Give me a bit more time, okay? Let me clear my mind and build a garden of roses to show you the most beautiful sights." She agreed. Okay. 3 months of vacation flew by. I recovered well, probably because all the bad luck had passed. Now, luck seemed to be on my side. I smoothly transitioned into the marketing director role, handling everything with ease. Apart from Judy's persistent attention, everything was great. Outside the office, I ran into Judy again. She had slimmed down, her face hollowed out, gaining a surprising maturity and reticence. Her eyes slightly lit up at seeing me, and she offered a bouquet of lisianthus, the flower she usually gave when apologizing. "What is this supposed to mean?" I asked. Judy lowered her eyes and softly said, "An apology." I tugged at the corners of my lips and tossed the flowers into a nearby trash can without hesitation. "I don't need it." She stared at the flowers in the trash, her gaze stiff but then forced a smile at me. "It's okay. I'll give you flowers every day, no matter how many you throw away." "What exactly are you trying to do?" I pressed. Her voice was strained, her head drooping in defeat. "I know I was a jerk. Maybe you won't believe anything I say now, but I never got with Felix. I just wanted to make you jealous, to see if you cared. I never intended to break up with you." I looked at her and said softly, "But you did have feelings for him, didn't you?" Judy's eyelashes trembled, casting a shadow beneath her eyes, and she was at a loss for words. I knew she was unhappy with how busy I was and that I barely had time for dates. Maybe at first mentioning Felix was just partly being intrigued by him or wanting to gauge my jealousy. Maybe even Judy hadn't realized how she smiled and spoke fondly whenever she mentioned him afterward. After a while, Judy finally spoke. "Jack, I just wanted you to care a little more at first. I didn't want you to be so exhausted." "So, you're saying it's my fault for not having time for you that you strayed?" I questioned. She quickly clarified, "No, it's my fault." I asked her again, "Have you noticed my change? Colleagues say I've changed a lot, that I used to be constantly tense and down. Exhaustion almost drowned me like a tidal wave. But now, I have a healthy glow as if I'm wrapped up in sunshine." Judy's eyes reddened, as if realizing something, her voice shaken. "You're more like you used to be, lively and bright." I smiled slightly. Ending an unhealthy relationship is like removing a mountain from my chest. Finally, I can breathe again. "Judy, you were never serious about the promise of sticking together through thick and thin. If I chose to be with you, I'd be prepared to face ups and downs together. If you're willing to clear obstacles to be with me, I'm also ready to rein in my impulsive and restless behavior. Working hard to get your mom's approval, so she would genuinely bless what we have. You'll never get it. I'm not some stray cat you hide in your room. I'm your partner against the storm." Judy once told me about bringing a stray cat home when she was a kid. Her parents were set on getting rid of it. Judy cried for what felt like forever, fed the cat in secret, and hid it in her room. But eventually, it got found, and she had no choice but to watch it be sent away. After a while, she forgot about the cat. If I relied on her like that stray cat, thinking she'd protect me forever, that would be naive. What Judy couldn't see were the endless family conflicts. If I ran to her every time things got hard, it would only drive a wedge between them, not to mention it would always leave her tired and weary. A relationship can't last with just one side giving. Sooner or later, the scales will tip. Judy's lips were pale and she looked like paper. Her eyes were pleading and desperation hung around her brows. I laughed at myself and thought all my efforts were just a joke. "Do you still think I broke up with you only because of Felix?" Her eyes snapped up to mine, her lips trembling with a cry. No, it's my fault. Jack, please tell me what to change. Don't leave me, okay? How can a person who can't even keep their own promises ever change? Judy once promised her mother she'd learn to manage the company to be with me and become the perfect heir. But when she went to college, she seemed to forget it. While I sat studying in the library, she was out racing cars and sailing yachts, living that post-21 life. Her mom asked me to push her to succeed, shifting their conflicts onto me. I forced Judy to study with me. At first, she seemed on board, but soon she found every excuse to back out. Why do you sound like my mom? She joked, hiding her impatience well. It left me speechless, a heavy sadness in my chest. Just like those wedding vows some people make. I'll do all the chores, make all the dinners, love you forever. But not long after the honeymoon, they tear off the mask, turning ugly, like they were never that person to begin with. Promises are just bait for a trap. I was lost, not sure what to do, so I buried myself in work, ignoring Judy. She panicked, apologizing again and again, cut back on her partying, and joined the company for training. Her mom's satisfaction with me grew, but so did my sense of fatigue. Did she really change? Maybe not. She just hid it better and still saw Felix's antics as cute. Her mom trusts her to run the company? Who knows? She's confident because she's the only heir. I realized as I was turning into a savvy adult. She was still that rebellious girl giving talks on the flagpole, unruly and carefree, never growing up. Maybe I was the naive one, believing in those promises, wasting time with each passing day. I looked at her, sadness filling my eyes. Judy, I didn't have to live like this. I don't want your money or power. I wanted to be with you because I loved you. But your misunderstandings and impatience pushed me to the edge. Holding onto the cliff with a single vine, you kept mentioning Felix, cutting through it bit by bit, as you wished we're done. To me, your only worth was that sincere love you gave me. Now it's tainted, so I don't want you anymore. I looked at her, slowly smiled. Judy, you finally snuffed out the last bit of feeling I had for you. Congrats. She covered her eyes, sobbing, shaking like a lost child. I left her and that girl with stars in her eyes behind, never looking back once. After that, Judy vanished from my life. Employees I added as contacts informed me Felix got fired. He threw a fit and was dragged out by her mom's security. Honestly, I didn't care about his fate. In a way, I had to thank him for helping me cut those spoiled ties. I just feel a little sorry for his next workplace. Changing the culture isn't about sweet-talking the boss or being defiant. My take on it? Too much screen time. To truly relate to the working class, you need to strive for influence, lead by example, and improve the environment from the top down. Only then can a company run smoothly. Luckily, my boss was my mentor and I'd be the next one to give others a helping hand. Coming home from work, the delicious aroma hit me instantly, making me smile as I headed straight for the kitchen. Joanna, you got way too much time on your hands if you're always cooking for me. She replied earnestly, a good boss needs to let others do the work. If I did everything myself, what's the team here for? Is she hinting at me mooching off her? I offered, want me to pay you a wage? Joanna chuckled, already nodding. Forget money, just feed and house me. Then I can cook for you every day. I couldn't help but playfully pinch her cheek. You're really good at pushing boundaries. Her gaze darkened, looking even deeper. I quickly released her and cleared my throat. Next moment, a faded red string came into view, its writing too familiar. I found this string with your note. The string swayed, the ink blurred and yellowed with age, but still readable. Please let me confess to Joanna after finals and succeed. The string spun around her finger, flipping over. There were some newly added words. Please help me confess to Jack successfully and stay together forever. I froze for a moment, feeling a sudden pinch in my nose, accusing her. You're so childish. She looked me straight in the eye, just inches apart, and her voice was a bit hoarse. So, are you saying yes? I pushed her onto the soft sofa, fingers interlocked, and the red string fell to the floor. Our lips intertwined softly, the restrained passion flaring up with our breaths. Moist, entwined, beautiful. Our breaths tightly wrapped around each other. We were both drenched in sweat, and in the end, we looked at our disheveled selves and laughed. I rested my forehead against her sweat-soaked one, chuckling softly. He said he agreed. Joanna had a secret plan book called the Husband Pursuit Plan, or in harsher terms, a homewrecker plan, though she didn't see it that way. In her eyes, the only advantage Judy had was her money, so she changed her career path from medicine to business, shocking everyone around her. She pondered why Jack might not be satisfied with her, thinking she was too boring, and praised the paper husbands in novels. She bought hundreds of popular novels, reading late into the night, trying to shape her emotional intelligence to match the heroines in them. She kept up with her fitness, paid attention to her looks, and worked hard to earn money. Her friends joked that she was a peacock showing off, but all she wanted was for Jack to notice her just once. When she met his polite and courteous gaze again, Joanna suddenly realized that no matter how excellent she became, he would never care because once he chose his partner, he would give all his love without reservation, not sparing a glance for others. That's what made Jack wonderful. Even if Joanna was insanely jealous of Judy, it didn't matter. She figured it out and willingly retreated to a safe distance to wait, believing she could outlast Judy in the end. As for how long it would take or if it was worth it, she never wondered or cared. When she realized it, the boy she grew up with had already taken deep root in her heart, his strong roots spreading to every corner of her heart, with her blood as its nourishment, helping it thrive. Luckily, God was watching over her, and Joanna finally found herself back in his sunny gaze, being loved by him. It was even more joyful than she'd imagined, so overwhelmingly lucky that she couldn't help but tear up. Jack asked her, "All those changes you made for me, was it really worth it?" Joanna looked at him earnestly. "I never changed my plan. Everything about you was within my plan. The lighthouse guiding me forward wasn't a list of plans, but your footsteps left as you danced under the moonlight. As long as I follow you closely, I won't lose my way." When Joanna tied that red string once again, she clasped her hands together, like a devout believer. "God, I pray to you, show mercy, so he never lets go of my hand until life ends."